Azika was dying. That wasn't supposed to happen. She was a god of Kaldheim. She watched helplessly as the monster reached the well. What poison would it use? What corruption would it seed in this most sacred place? Sample acquired, it said in that stitched together voice. I'm ready to return. From the other side of the portal came a sound so unearthly and strange, she almost didn't recognize it as a voice. Welcome back, Vorinclex. We step ever closer to perfection. Hey everyone, Simon here for the Aether Hub, bringing you another Magic the Gathering video. That was an excerpt from the Kaldheim conclusion, an epilogue that reveals Vorinclex and the Phyrexians' real intentions on Kaldheim, as well as their future plans. Let's get into all that juicy lore as we prepare to face the new god of Phyrexia. But before that, you may have noticed I've been uploading a lot of shorter videos lately, some pretty off-topic stuff. These are known as YouTube Shorts, and I've just discovered them and how much fun they can be. I'm going to try and make it obvious when a video is a short when compared to a standard video of mine, so if you're not really into it, you don't have to watch it. But I'm using them as sort of a way to wiggle out creative juices a bit, and hopefully you guys enjoy them, and maybe we can make them go viral. But needless to say, these longer form videos, they're going to continue regardless. So that was just my not so short explanation of shorts. Now let's get back to the lore. Since the first leak of a Phyrexian card in Kaldheim, people have been wondering what the heck are they doing on a plane that seems so far removed from the build-up of the Phyrexian storyline. So many questions popped up, such as, how did they discover a way to travel across the multiverse? Why did only Vorinclex make the journey? And what was their ultimate goal on Kaldheim? With the end of Kaldheim's story, we finally have some of those answers, with others still waiting for our return to New Phyrexia. The epilogue of Kaldheim gives us our first hints of what's to come, as well as answers to the overarching question of what Vorinclex was actually doing there in the first place. I incorrectly predicted that Vorinclex was merely a mistake by Tybalt using the Sword of the Realms to just bring a random monster to sow chaos on Kaldheim. That couldn't be further from the truth, as we learned that Vorinclex was already on Kaldheim when Tybalt arrived and actually forcibly co-opted Tybalt in his scheme. The nature of that scheme was still unknown. We only knew that Vorinclex needed attention drawn away from him, thus Tybalt caused the Doomscar to do just that. Now let me read from the epilogue directly and then we can break it down. Azika was dying. This wasn't supposed to happen. She was a god. It was by her hand, in fact, that the gods were freed from their mortality, from aging, from that final closing in of the dark. It was Azika who brewed the potion of divinity from the sap of the world tree, the draught that kept death at bay, and yet she could feel the life escaping her, running down her arms, her body, her face. She couldn't move her legs. She would have fallen to the ground by now if the monster who had done this wasn't holding her up with one raw, flesh-colored claw. It tilted her to one side, regarding her with those dark, empty eye sockets. It had found her, this thing, in her sanctum, the place where she drew the sap and brewed the Cosmos Elixer. Nobody, nothing, had ever found her here. A voice rose from the creature's throat, an odd amalgamation of tones and deliveries, as if the words had been stolen from other voices, synchronized into something new.
Not enough hunger in you, not enough fear to survive.
It dropped her then, and stalked back towards the well that ran to the heart of the tree. Azika tried to raise her arms. She had never been a warrior, not like Halvar or Toroth, but she would fight with everything she had left to defend the world tree. Her arms wouldn't obey her though. She tried to shout, to call for help, but the only thing that came out was a bubbling, wet croak. She watched helpless as the monster reached the well. What poison would it use? What corruption would it seed in this most sacred place? To her surprise, it produced one of her own bottles. It must have taken one from her during the fight. She watched it dip the bottle into the well and hold it up to the light. Inside, the sap of the world tree shimmered with all the colors of the realms. The most beautiful thing in this world, in any world, as far as Azika was concerned. If the monster was moved, it showed no sign.
Sample acquired. I am ready to return,
it said in that stitched-together voice. To whom it was speaking, Azika had no idea. The light of the room seemed to be fading, or maybe that was just her vision going out around the edges. Suddenly, there was a bright, strobing light in the center of the chamber, a hissing, sparking red glow that began as a single star and spread, slowly into a circle. The circle widened. This was no omen path. She could see now. It was magic she had never seen before. From the other side of the portal came a sound so unearthly and strange. She almost didn't recognize it as a voice.
Welcome back, Vorinclex. We step ever closer to perfection.
Alright, so from the start, we know the god who was seemingly killed by Vorinclex is Azika, the god of the World Tree, its protector and the secret bearer of the Kaldheim god's immortality. She's the one who learned how to turn the sap of the World Tree into the Cosmos Elixer, which essentially makes gods. Azika is the only one who knows of this skill, so if she really is lost, if she really does die here, that means there will no longer be gods on Kaldheim, or at least this current pantheon we're familiar with won't be around. They'll lose their immortality as well as their connection with the World Tree. Simply put, Vorinclex appeared on Kaldheim because the Phyrexians were somehow made aware of this Cosmos Elixir and its properties. The very fact that it can make gods. We don't know how they came across this information. To our knowledge, most mortals on Kaldheim don't even know about this elixir. So we can't be for sure how a race on New Phyrexia, who can't even planeswalk in a traditional sense, came to learn about it. The only thing I can imagine is that some planeswalker must have either traveled to Kaldheim or was a native of Kaldheim, learned of the Cosmos Elixir, then traveled to New Phyrexia and either gave that information willingly or was completed into a subjugated thrall. That's my working theory, at least. How cool would it be if we met a Phyrexianized version of an old Kaldheim planeswalker? A hero or villain of myth from that world, now turned a champion of New Phyrexia. I don't know, I think that sounds cool. Anyway, the Praetors learned about this elixir and sent Vorinclex to go grab a sample. I think Tezzeret must have been the one to help them with his planar bridge. It just makes the most sense and is the easiest jump to make from a story standpoint. I mean, he has a way to travel between the multiverse and send things through the multiverse in his chest. He's a plot device. Tezzeret, good boy. And maybe now this gives us a little glimpse into his motivation to help the Phyrexians. Maybe his end of the bargain is that Tezzeret gets a little sip of this sap, a true taste of godhood, a glimpse into the master's seat that Bolas always had over him. Seems tempting. Ultimately, no matter how Vorinclex found this secret place hidden by a god, killed said god despite almost losing to Kaya and a bunch of rando scholars, the point remains clear. His mission was a success. As said in the final Phyrexian transmission, we step closer to perfection. The Cosmos Elixir is key to the Phyrexians' plan to complete the entire multiverse in the ideals laid out by their late god, the father of machines, Yawgmoth. Flesh is weak, mortal wills are weak. These imperfections must be purged from the multiverse, and what remains will be the strength of steel and machine alone, the Phyrexian Empire. With the Cosmos Elixir, I cannot imagine the type of power it could bestow to the Praetors. If a cup of this stuff could change mortal men into gods, let's say we give a glass to, Elesh Norn. She's the new mother of machines, the de facto leader of New Phyrexia, and head of their unholy campaign. If anyone is to drink the Cosmos Elixir, it will likely be her. True, they could probably sample it out, make more, and give all the Praetors the godly boost, but knowing how power-hungry Elesh Norn is, I won't be shocked to learn that she drinks it all herself, becoming the new Yawgmoth, an actual Phyrexian god returning to MTG. This is actually a really compelling direction for the story, one that helps answer the question of who could fill this missing big baddie slot left by the defeat of Bolas. Obviously, the Phyrexians as a group are a massive enough threat alone, but Elesh Norn becoming a new Phyrexian god ups it to a whole different level. There will be a head to this threat, not just a nameless army like the Eldrazi sort of were. But still, like the Eldrazi, Elesh Norn will have her army, but she is going to be the true end boss, setting us up for a post-Eldrazi, post-Bolas story arc. Of course, one major question I still have is, if the Cosmos Elixir is made from the sap of the World Tree, and the World Tree's connection to those who drink it is what gives them their power, how will a cyborg on a different plane with no real connection to the World Tree gain that power even when they drink this? I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but it seems like a weird loophole. And yeah, you guys, I'm really excited to share this information with you because I know you have your own interesting thoughts and theories on this as well, and I always really enjoy reading them in the comments, so have at it. I kinda hope that they work on this new Phyrexian threat a little bit more, give it some time to breathe and build up a bit. I know they haven't released any information yet about an upcoming Phyrexian set, so we do have some time there, but yeah, hopefully they have like little Easter eggs and hints planned along the road here to tease this ever-rising threat before the hammer drops. That's my hope, at least. It would be kinda disappointing if Elesh Norn just showed up as a god one day without any real build-up, but we'll see, fingers crossed. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like, subscribe, and tick that notification bell so you never miss out when a new video releases. Of course, check out our Patreon as well if you want access to these videos early, signed cards, and so much more. Oh, and again, check out my shorts section. I'm uploading almost daily shorts, fun skits, and stuff like that, so check those out. And as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya!